My name is Janet Stewart. I'm a psychologist and people blaming people for any kind of mental health issues that they have. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling very sad, if you're feeling isolated, those are the times that you can reach out and just ask questions. It doesn't hurt to ask questions. Maybe some people actually aren't very social people, so they don't really like too many people. So they're pain to go away, and so maybe I will hurt myself or kill myself. The opposite of addiction is connection.
የተከበራችሁ አድማጮቼ በዚህ በዩቲዩብ ፕሮግራም ላይ በማርቆስ ኤዱኬሽናል ቻናል የተለያዩ አስተማሪ የሆኑ ጠቃሚ የሆኑ መረጃዎች ይቀርባሉ። ስለዚህ ይህንን መረጃ ለማግኘት እንድትችሉ ዩቲዩብ ፕሮግራምን ሰብስክራይብ አድርጉ፣ ሼር አድርጉ፣ ላይክ አድርጉ። እኔም በዚህ አይነት ሁኔታ በተለያየ ጊዜ የተሻለና ጠቃሚ የሆነ መረጃ ለማቅረብ እሞክራለሁ። ከትላንት ወዲያ በወጣው ቪዲዮ ላይ አንድ ኢንተርቪው ነበረ። ይሄ ኢንተርቪው ደግሞ የተደረገው በዚህ በካልጋሪ Eastside Community Mental Health Professional በሚባለው Eastside Community Mental Health Center ወይም ፕሮፌሽናል ከሚባለው የዛ ሶሳይቲ የዛ አሶሲዬሽን የዛ ድርጅት ማናጀር የሆኑ ሳይኮሎጂስት በጣም ጠቃሚ የሆነ መረጃ ሰጥተውናል እና ይሄ ደግሞ በእንግሊዝኛ ስለነበረ ይህንን ዛሬ ባጭሩ በአማርኛ እንደ ኢንትሮዳክሽን ከሰጠው በኋላ ከዛ የሳቸውን ፕሮግራም በእንግሊዝኛ ቢሆንም በደንብ ኤዲት ተደርጎ ከስሩ ደግሞ በአማርኛ ስለምጻፍ እሱን በደንብ እንድትከታተሉ እጋብዛችኋለሁ። በተለያየ አጋጣሚ የተለያየ ቦታ ላይ የተለያዩ ፕሮግራሞች ተከታትያሉ ማለት ይችላልው። ኢትዮጵያም ያለው ጣሊያንም እዚህ ሀገርም በትምርት ቤትም ይሄ ፕሮግራም አቀራረቡ በጣም ጥሩ አቀራረብ ነው የነበረው። በጣም በሚመች ሁኔታ በቀላል መንገድ በጣም ልምድ ያላቸው ሳይኮሎጂስት ብዙ አመታት በዚህ ስራ ላይ የነበሩ ይህንን ስለ ሜንታል ሄልዝ ጉዳይ በቀላሉ እንድገባን አድርገው ተናግሯል። እሳቸው እንዳሉት ብዙ ጊዜ ምን ነበር የነበረ ኢንተርቪው ላይ ያልኳቸው በእኛ ኮሚኒቲ ስለ ሜንታል ሄልዝ ብዙ አይነሳም፣ እንደ ታቡ ነው። ሰው ስለዚህ ጉዳይ ማንሳት ይፈራል። ከጓደኛው ከወዳጁ ከቤተሰቡ ጋር ብዙም አይወያይም። እንደ ስቲግማ አለ፣ እንደ ታቡ ነው ብዬ ስናገር በእኛ ኮሚኒቲ እንደዚህ ነው። ስለዚህ ሞር አዌርነስ ያስፈልጋቸዋል ብዬ ስጠይቃቸው እሳቸው ምን ነበር ቪዲዮ ላይ ያሉት በብዙ ካልቸሮች ይሄ ችግር አለ። ሰው ስለ ፊዚካል ጤናው ያወራል፣ የሚያስፈልገው ህክምናም ያገኛል። እግር ካመመው፣ ልብ ካመመው፣ ጭንቅላት ካመመው የሆነ ነገር ከሆነ ራስ ምታት ካለው ወደ ሐኪም ጋር በመሄድ ህክምና ያገኛል። ለመጠየቅም አይፈራም። ግን በዚህ በሜንታል ሄልዝ ጉዳይ ላይ ግን ብዙ ፍርሃት አለ። ሰው ግልጽ አድርጎ መናገር አይፈልግም። ለጓደኛው አወያይም፣ ለቤተሰቡም ብዙ ላይናገር ይችላል እና ስቲግማው አለ። በማንኛውም ካልቸር ስለ ነበር በማንኛውም ካልቸር ስቲግማው ቢኖርም ግን በእኛ ሶሳይቲ ይበዛል። እዚህ ሀገር ላይ ሳይኮሎጂስቶች ዲግሪ ያላቸው ማስተርስ ያላቸው ከዛም ፒኤችዲ ያላቸው ኦፊስ ከፍተው በዚህ ስራ በጣም ይሰራሉ። ብዙ ሰልጥነው ማለት ነው። ብዙም ያስከፍላሉ። ለምሳሌ $200 በላይ በሰዓት የሚያስከፍሉበት ሁኔታ አለ። ግን እኛ ሀገር ላይ እንደዚህ ሳይኮሎጂ ተመድቦ ያለበት ሁኔታ ብዙ የለም። ብዙ ሳይካትሪ ሴንተሮችም የሉም። ሰው ይህንን ብዙ አይጠቀምም። በርግጥ በእኛ ሶሳይቲ ከሳይካትሪ ይልቅ ወደ መንፈሳዊ ነገር ዝንባሌ አለን። ወደ ቸርች እንሄዳለን፣ እንጸልያለን፣ እናማክራለን፣ መንፈሳዊ ምክር እንጠይቃለን፣ ጸሎት እንጠይቃለን። ይህ በጣም ጥሩ ነው። በውጭ ሀገርም ቢሆን ስፒሪቹዋል ኬር የሚባል አለ። ለምሳሌ በየሆስፒታሉ በካናዳ፣ በአሜሪካ፣ በአውስትራሊያ ስፒሪቹዋል ኬር ሰርቪስ ወይም ቻፕሊንስ የሚባል ኦፊስ አለ። በኤርፖርት ላይ በሆስፒታል ላይ ይሄ ኦፊስ አለ። ይሄ ኦፊስ በኤመርጀንሲ ጊዜ ለተጨነቁት በአንድ ሰው ሲሞት ምክር የሚሰጡ ናቸው። መንፈሳዊ ምክር የሚሰጡ ናቸው የሰለጠኑ። ከዛ ደግሞ አንዳንድ ጊዜ እንደዚህ ቻፕሊኖች ደግሞ ወይ ቄሶች፣ ፓስተሮች፣ ሌሎችም አገልጋዮች ናቸው የዚህ አይነት አገልግሎት የሚሰጡ። ይሄ አለ። ከዛ ደግሞ ቤተክርስቲያን ደግሞ መጸለይ ማለት ግን ሁሉም አስፈላጊ ነው ሁሉም ይጠቅማል አንዳንድ ነገር ከኖርማል ምክር መንፈሳዊ አገልግሎት ትንሽ ወሰብሰብ ያለ ሊሆን ስለሚችል ብዙ ሳይኮሎጂ ችግሮች ሊኖሩ ስለሚችሉ እነዚህን ኤክስፐርቶች መጠየቅ ምክር መጠየቅ ካስፈለገም ቴራፒ ማግኘት በጣም ይጠቅማል እሳቸው ያሉት ምንድነው እዚህ ላይ ብዙ ቴራፒ እንኳን ባስፈልግ የሆነ ነገር ሲጨንቃችሁ ወይም የሆነ ሀዘን ስታዝኑ ሌላም ነገር ወር የምትሆኑበት ነገር ካለ ለራሳችሁ ለቤተሰባችሁ ካለ ያን ጊዜ ደውላችሁ አድቫይስ ጠይቁ አትፍሩ ነው ይያሉ ተናገሩት እና ይሄ ድርጅትም ሆነ ሌሎች ሳይኮሎጂስቶች እንግዲህ ምክሩን በቀላል መንገድ በጥንቃቄ አክብሮት በተሞላበት መንፈስ ዕውቀት በተሞላበት መንገድ ይሰጣሉ ነገሩም ኮንፊደንሻል ነው ስለዚህ ይሄንን ነገር መጠቀም ይቻላል ነው ያሉት በተለይ በዚህ አሁን ባለንበት ሰዓት ላይ ከኮሮና የተነሳ ከአንድ አመት በላይ ብዙ ማህበራዊ ነገሮች ስለተቀነሱ ብዙ አይነት ሌላ አይነት በዓል ማክበር ቤተክርስቲያን መሄድ ሰርግ ማድረግ ዘመድ መጠየቅ ትራቨል ማድረግ ኢንተርናሽናል ትራቨል ብዙ የለም ልጆችም ቤት ይውላሉ ብዙ ስፖርት አክቲቪቲ የለም ሌላም አይነት አክቲቪቲዎች የሉም ሙዚቃ አክቲቪቲ የለም በጋራ የሚደረጉ ትልቅ ነገሮች ቀርተዋል ይህ ሰውን ሊያስጨንቅ ይችላል ሰው ስለ ፊውቸሩ ስለ ጤናው ስለ ራሱ ጤንነት ስለ ቤተሰቡ ጤንነት ተጨንቋልና በተለይ በዚህ ጊዜ እንኳን ከሌላ ጊዜ የበለጠ ምክር መጠየቅ ይጠቅማል ነው ያሉት እና ምንድነው እዚህ ያሉት እኚህ ሳይኮሎጂስት ወይም ይሄ ሳይኮሎጂ ሳይካትሪ ባለሙያ ሚስስ ጃኔት ስቱዋርት እዚህ ላይ ስልክ ሁሉ አስቀምጧል ካስፈልገ መደወል ይቻላል ነው ያሉት ስልካቸው ወይም የአሶሲዬሽናቸው የሰንተሩ ስልክ 403-299-9699 ነው 403-299-9699 ነው እዛ በመደወል አሁን ዝግ ነው በርግጥ መስሪያ ቤቱ ግን ስልክ በመደወል ምክር መጠየቅ አድቫይስ መጠየቅ ይቻላል ነው ያሉት ኖርማሊ ግን ኮሮና ምክንያት በዘጋም ብዙ ጊዜ እንደ ዎክ ኢን ማድረግ ይቻላል ለተለያየ አገልግሎት እንደምሰጥ ተናግሯል ስለዚህ እነን ፍሪ ሰርቪስ መጠቀም ነው ከሁሉ በላይ ደግሞ እዛ ድረስ መደወል እንኳን ባስፈልግ እንግዲህ ችግር እንዳለ ለመረዳት አንዳንድ ወሬ የሚያደርግ ነገር ካለ ምን ማድረግ እንደምገባ ቢያንስ ከዚህ ቪዲዮ መማር ይቻላል ሌላው ነገር ደግሞ ምንድነው ሌላ ትልቁ ችግር ደግሞ አለ ከዚህ መበለጥ ችግር አለ መጀመሪያ ነው ኮንታክት ሲያረጋቸው በኮሙኒቲያችን በተለያየ ጊዜ አንዳንድ ችግሮች የተፈጠሩበት ሁኔታ አለ እንደነ ሳብስታንስ አቢዩዝ እንደዚሁም ደግሞ አንዳንድም ደግሞ አልፎ ራሳቸውን እስከ ማጥፋት የደረሱም አሉ እነዚህ ችግሮች አሉ ይሄ ችግር እንዴት ይፈታል ከመለውም አካባቢያ ነው ይሄንን ፕሮግራም ማዘጋጀት አሰብኩት ይሄ አይሶሌሽን የሚባል ነገር አለ አንዳንድ ሰዎች በተለይ ወጣቶች ልጆችም ቲኔጀሮችም ራሳቸውን አይሶሌት የሚያደርጉበት ሁኔታ አለ በዚህ ጊዜ ለምሳሌ እንደነ ድራግ ይለማመዳሉ አንዳንድ ሰው ደግሞ ብዙ አልኮል ላይ ይውላል ብዙ አልኮል ይወስዳል ከዛም ደግሞ ጋምብሊንግ ውስጥ ይገባል ወደ ተለያየ ደንጀረስ ወደ ሆኑ ጌሞች የተለያዩ ልማዶች የሚገቡበት ሁኔታ አለ አይሶሌትድ ሆነው አይሶሌትድ ሲሆኑ ልጆች ወጣቶች ምልክቱ ምን እንደሆነም ተናግሯል በዚህ ቪዲዮ ላይ እሱን ከሳቸው መከታተል ትችላላችሁ የትልቅ ችግር ስለሆነ ስለ ዲፕሬሽን ስለ አይሶሌሽን ስለ ሳብስታንስ አቢዩዝ የመሳሰለ ሰፋ ያለ ትምርት በሌላ ጊዜ ሊቀርብ ይችላል ግን ዋናው ነገር ምንድነው ችግሩ እንዳለ እንድናቀና እንደዚህ ችግሮችን ለመቀነስ ምን ማድረግ እንደሚቻል ምን አይነት ስትራቴጂ እንዳለ በተለይ እንደነ ጭንቀት የመሳሰሉ ነገሮች ባጭሩ ሊቀጭ እንደሚችል ምክር ከተወሰደ አንዳንድ ችግሮች ባጭሩ ሊቀጭ እንደሚችል ነው እዚህ ላይ መስማት የምንችለው ማለት ነው ስለዚህ የአይሶሌሽን ተቃራኒው ምንድነው ኦፖዚቱ ምንድነው ኮኔክሽን ነው ኮኔክትድ መሆን ከቤተሰብ ጋር ከጓደኛ ጋር ሶሻል ላይፍ ጸሎት ማድረግ ቤተክርስቲያን መሄድ መንፈሳዊ ስብሰባዎችን መሳተፍ እንደዚሁ መንፈሳዊ ሴል ጉባኤዎች ላይ ጸሎት ጉባኤዎች ላይ መሳተፍ ምክር መጠየቅ እነዚህ መሳሰሉ ነገሮች ማድረግ ከዚህ ከአይሶሌሽን ሊጠብቅ እንደሚችል ስለዚህ ነገርም ተነግሯል የኛ ሶሳይቲ በአጠቃላይ እንደምናውቀው ወደ ጸሎት ወደ መንፈሳዊ ነገር የሚያተኩር ነው የችግርም በርግጥ ይሄንን ያክል የተጋነነ ችግርም የለም ግን በሆነም አንዳንድ ችግር ሊኖር ስለሚችል ይሄንን ቪዲዮ በደንብ እንድትከታተሉ እጋብዛችኋለሁ በቀጥታ ከሳቸው ቪዲዮን ተከታተሉ ከዚህ በኋላ ያሳቸው ስለምናገሩ በእንግሊዝኛ ቢሆንም ከስር ስለሚገልጹ ይሄ ነገር በደንብ ተከታተሉ ለእናንተ ብቻ ሳይሆን ለሚያስፈልጋችሁ ለሌሎችም እንድደርስ በግሩፕም ሆነ በኮሚኒቲ ወይም በአካባቢያችሁ ይሄንን ቪዲዮ ይባካችሁ ሼር አድርጉ ብዙ ቪው ለማግኘት ብቻ ሳይሆን እንመላለስ ምንድነው በጣም ጠቃሚ ስለሆነ ነው። ስለዚህ እኚህ ትልቅ ሳይኮሎጂ ባለሙያ ጃኔት ስቱዋርት በቪዲዮ ላይ የምናገሩትን ፕሮግራም በተቻለ መጠን ተከታተሉ። አሁንም ይሄንና ሌላንም ጥሩ ፕሮግራሞችን ለማግኘት እንድትችሉ ኢንፎርሜሽን ጠቃሚ ኢንፎርሜሽን በየወቅቱ ማግኘት እንድትችሉ ይሄንን ማርቆስ ኤዱኬሽናል ቻናል ሰብስክራይብ አድርጉ፣ ሼር አድርጉት እና ላይክ አድርጉ ደግሞ ከወደዳችሁ። አመሰግናለሁ።
Thank you for your time. I understand that you are very busy dealing with the pandemic time problems, family problems, and so I know we have been talking almost now since December. So it is very interesting to have you today. I know you are a manager for Eastside mental health professionals, and then you didn't even send your staff, but you gave your time because I told you our community situation. Mm-hmm. Our community, we need more awareness about counseling and mental health issue because we don't practice too much mental health in my community. It will look like sometimes like a taboo also. Mm-hmm. So today you will explain, you give awareness about your program and then the importance of mental health counseling sometimes in life, particularly during this time.
Sure, I know you had some questions for me as well, potentially. So maybe I'll introduce myself and tell you a little bit about the supports that we offer. And definitely that taboo and stigma is a big issue in mental health for all cultures, really. So that's an important piece to talk about as well, for sure. So my name is Janet Stewart. I'm psychologist and manager at Eastside Community Mental Health Services. And we provide, the bigger agency that I work for is called Woods Homes. So Eastside Family Center is what it used to be called. And our community resource team have been providing services in the northeast of Calgary for 30 years. So for 30 years, we've had crisis community support for families, as well as a walk-in clinic, a walk-in support service for families and youth who would like to see a therapist. And we're out here at the Northgate Village Mall, but don't come down because there's no walk-in services right now because of the COVID-19 pandemic. All of our clients have been calling on the phone. And so you call 403-299-9699 and you talk pretty immediately. You might have to leave a message, but you talk pretty immediately to a crisis counselor who will help you figure out what the best fit is, if it's just for yourself, maybe it's for a family member or for your child or youth that you're wondering maybe if they need help. So it's an easy way to ask for advice and consultation. So a lot of people, maybe they don't need counseling or they don't need therapy right away, but they're looking for advice because they're not sure if they should be worried about themselves or they should be worried about another person. I kind of think about it like there's this number that you can call with Alberta Health Services. And you can call them and find out, should I go to the hospital or am I okay or not for some physical kinds of health issues? And that's the same thing for us. You can call us if you're just really not sure if you should be worried about yourself or another person around our mental health. And so you talked about that taboo, and that taboo or stigma around mental health is across all cultures. And one of the things that we talk a lot about to folks is, if you are having problems with your heart, or if you are having problems with your kidney or some other physical part, maybe your leg really hurts. Lots of people would not hesitate to go to their family doctor or someone they trust in the medical profession to ask about, why does my leg hurt? Or I think I might have a problem with my heart. But lots and lots of people are very hesitant. They don't want to talk to someone and try to find out if there's some strategies or some support around their mental health. And so that's that taboo and stigma that I think we try to make sure that when you do call us, the conversation is respectful and informative. And so anybody who calls in thinks to themselves, well, that actually wasn't too bad, I got some information, I got some help, they're very respectful. And so maybe I could do that again, or, I kind of trust what they say to me. And so I'd like to follow up with what they're saying. So that's kind of what we try to do over here. And we know that for lots of youth are on their phones now. So we have text and chat opportunities. So you don't have to call someone. You could just get on your device if you have a device and get that support as well. So there's lots of ways to get support. But you're right, there's lots of still thoughts in a lot of people's ideas about how mental health can be very shameful, that mental health means you're very weak, that there's something wrong with you. But we would never, lots of people would never think to blame someone if their leg hurt or they needed some heart medication. But we do get still in 2021 a lot of people blaming people for any kind of mental health issues that they have. And right now with COVID-19 and being in this really extraordinary time in history where people are feeling very isolated and people are not able to do the kinds of things that they love to do, get-togethers, be with family, celebrate different kinds of times, and whether it's religious times or other kinds of times like birthdays and anniversaries, people are feeling very isolated. And it's okay when if at this time when we're having such a something that's never happened before, if now should be the time where you feel like it's okay to reach out and ask someone for their advice on what you should do. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling very sad, if you're feeling isolated, those are the times that you can reach out and just ask questions. It doesn't hurt to ask questions about what kind of support is available for when people are feeling very sad or feeling very, very worried and anxious about the future, because we're all feeling very worried and anxious about the future, and that's happening to all of us for sure.
This is very important and very interesting information. Even I learned a lot of new things here. Mm-hmm. I have been looking for, since the COVID-19 pandemic started, I have been looking for some kind of psychological association who mm-hmm. may also volunteer and speak a little bit in my YouTube program, which mm-hmm. started almost now 18 months ago. And I did provide more information on during this COVID-19 time about emergency and other important things. So this is really very important information you have provided us, not only for the family, where the family, the task, the family have parents and children, everybody stay home, kids are not going to school. Sometimes they were not allowed to go to playground. So a lot of problems. So during this time, sharing responsibilities and the family task is also hard. So it is difficult that now they know whom to contact. They can contact your association, they can call other services number. I know, like for example, teenagers, they have helpline in the past, but this is really very important. Your association is very important for everybody. So this is really what I want to hear today. And so now, what are the main problems you see now from your clients and from family at this time? The main issue which are facing, I think sometimes married couples also, or kids and parents, which are the main thing, the main problem maybe you have aware of at this time, for example.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that the main problem that most people are feeling is just anxiety. So feeling worried about the future, worried about what's happening right now. It's hard to manage. So, anxiety is a good thing sometimes. It helps us, we've got to get going. We have to go to school. We have to go to work. If we were just sort of always happy and not having any, motivation to do anything, we would probably just, sit and maybe not do anything outside or not do any of our normal activities. So some anxiety gets us going and gets us motivated. But what lots of young people and adults are feeling right now is too much anxiety, too much wondering about the future. Will I be physically safe? Will I get sick? If I go to my job, will I get COVID-19? Will I bring that home to my family? So there's lots of worries about that. Now, some people are doing a great job. They're managing their worries perfectly. Their family is very supportive. They have friends, their work, they can physically distance at work, so they feel safe at work. So some people are really coping very well. Maybe some people actually aren't very social people, so they don't really like too many people. So they're actually feeling okay right now. But what we're seeing when the people that call are folks that saying, my usual ways to cope with anxiety, enjoying family and friends, going to the gym and doing activity, going out with my family to restaurants, eating the food that we love. I can't do the things that help me manage my anxiety right now. And so what we're talking to families, young people, and adults as well, they're welcome as well at Eastside Community Mental Health Services, even if you don't have a kiddo or you're not a parent. What we're talking with those folks about and consulting with them and just giving them ideas around strategies and ideas to manage that anxiety that we are all feeling right now. And so that's probably the biggest thing. And what we're trying to do is make sure that people receive that kind of consultation or those kinds of ideas before the anxiety gets so big that they might have to go to a hospital or that they might hurt themselves in some way. We have some problems with folks thinking that, I need the pain to go away, and so maybe I will hurt myself or kill myself. And so those are very, very sad, tragic things that happen. So our jobs are, here at Eastside is to make sure that that anxiety stays low so you can cope with it and your family can cope with it, and you don't have to go to the doctor or to the hospital or to it doesn't ever get so bad that you think about killing yourself. Yeah.
So that's very important. Also, another problem we have is sometimes in our community, some young people, there is substance abuse problem sometimes.
Yes.
And there are also very few people who also commit suicide. So this situation exists, but I know this is very wide topic, which I can't deal now, but now very important thing is that we know now what to do and what's the problem. And then sometimes it's very important to call and understand, ask some advice. That's the main thing for today's program, and also to connect my community with your organization. So that is the main goal. But eventually in the future, maybe in your staff or somebody, maybe we can also talk a little bit more about this isolation and some kind of habit and addiction, which may lead some young people to this problem. And then when they see their kids or their children isolated, what should family do to at least to prevent further bigger problem? So that kind of thing, maybe touch a little bit, but then in the future we will have more time, and it would be very interesting also to touch that issue.
Yes. Well, I think that absolutely those things are very connected. So you're absolutely right on that. And so what some people find, if they can't cope with the anxiety or the sad feelings, they try to use some other things to cope with that. Now, doing some binge watching on television or on YouTube, that's good stuff. But going to some drugs or alcohol or other things, that's a way that people cope with anxiety or hurt feelings or sadness that is not healthy. So you're absolutely right. The opposite of addiction, this is something that folks might be kind of a good way to think about addiction. The opposite of addiction is connection. So addiction, drugs, alcohol, it helps to isolate a person from their feelings. And the more that we as parents and as people who are supporting our young people or other people with addictions, the best that we can do is offer as much connection as we can. So pulling back from someone who is struggling with addictions makes it worse. And so our job is to make sure that we can reach out and connect with that person, that young person, as much as we can. Sometimes it's very difficult because they don't want connection. It's really hard right now to connect because they feel so bad about the world around them, or they feel bad about themselves. But the most things that we can do is connect. And that's the problem right now with COVID-19, is that it makes the idea of I'm going to isolate myself because I'm in such pain and I'm going to start taking some drugs or drinking too much, that it's very hard now in COVID-19 to increase our connections, to go against the idea of isolating with drugs and alcohol. And so the best that we can do as parents, as adults in the community, is to, if you think you're worried about someone, their mood has changed. They used to be a very happy, jovial, upbeat kind of person, and now they're very sad and you don't see them very often. Maybe they don't join the Zoom calls that are from your from your friends or family or from your church, like they're a bit missing. Then the best thing that we can do is reach out and support and ask. You can even, again, that's the idea of having this number. You can, even if you're just wondering, you can call and find and say, here's what I've seen. Should I be worried? What should I do now? Right? And so that's something that you can do very easily, and you don't need to give your name or any of your identify. You can just call in and ask if you're worried. If you feel like, well, they're spending so much time in their room. I know they have to do school online in their room, but when school's over, they stay there. And they don't come out and they don't interact with the family, and they're not joining us for family suppers and things like that. That can be another clue, like, oh, maybe something is, we need to spend more time together in a way that works for our family. So yeah, the opposite of addictions is connection. And that's just tough right now with COVID-19 and the kinds of ways we have connected before. Some of them are gone for us now. Yeah.
So I think you have given me all the main question I have. You mentioned also here about parents, and then also maybe about church also. My community is very active in church. They go, yes. They are church goers, either Orthodox or Protestant or Catholic. So I think the church also has a role in this to help to do some spiritual care also, which is, I think in Canada also we have the spiritual care services and chaplains also in the hospital. So this may help also, but it is very important information you have given us. Once again, I really appreciate your time. Your service is free of charge?
Yes. So Eastside Community Mental Health Services is funded by several government kind of agencies like Alberta Health Services. And we also have some other grants, and we have donations from the community and specific large donors from companies and things like that. So with all of that kind of funding that we have, it is free of charge. It has no cost to the clients. So you don't have to worry about that when you call in.
So once again, I want to tell my viewers, everybody who follow my YouTube program, today we have a great honor to have Janet Stewart, who is the manager for Eastside mental health professionals. This is a really great chance which we have today. And then I try also to talk this in the Amharic language and also maybe in Tigrinya in the future to explain what she said today for those who don't understand English. So I really appreciate once again your time. And I want once again to repeat the phone number. They can reach Euros Association when they need some advice. And it is very, very important that we have today in this program.
Yes. So yes, you can call Eastside Community Mental Health Services, as you said, at 403-299-9699. And we understand how important it is, especially in times of crisis, to be supported in your first language. And there are a few languages that our counselors and our therapists speak, including we have Spanish therapists and things like that. But we do appreciate and you know, if someone were to call in and have a friend who is helping to translate on the other line, oftentimes we have that. And so, you know, if someone's really needing some kind of support to make sure they get the right information, then we are open to that as well.
Once again, I can also volunteer for translating. I'm also certified translator. So there are also other translators in our community. So thank you very much again for your time. And then really I appreciate your time, Janet, and thank you very much for your time again.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you again.
Bye for now.
Have a good day.
You too.